Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. What a week it's been, and I've got to say, I say this with real disappointment, but I feel like the game is gone. What a week. As I say, the VAR controversy, which is just being swept under the carpet, and also some ridiculous selections from Southgate for England again. And it does make me think, so passionate, so in love with football, but is apathy and tiredness just started? I mean, we are just puppets on a string, aren't we? We can be manipulated as football fans, and they know it. Who is passionate about football? Who is the lifeblood of football? It is you, the football fan. And who is suppressed? Who just goes along like, rats following the Pied Piper? We do, the fans. And it's so predictable. And, taking it to a bigger picture, you can see why political parties around the world can, manipulate and stay in power and get hold and suppress and all this stuff, because basically society and people can just be ground down, and we've seen it, haven't we have seen it. What are you talking about, Goldbridge? Well, I'm not just talking about the Liverpool VAR stuff, which I want to get into again, because it's incredible what I predicted has come to pass. Liverpool are now the club that are being told to shut up, stop moaning, stop crying. They've lost that general support that they had because the media have done what the media have done. I quote tweeted a very credible journalist yesterday who was basically saying Liverpool shouldn't get a replay. It opens the floodgates. Should somebody else get a replay then because they had a dodgy handball? And I'm like, this is a top level credible journalist who just is either doing it on purpose or doesn't really realise the fact that no other game this season that's had a bad decision in it was done on purpose. And the Liverpool decision was, like, they knew it was a goal and they played on. Whether it was protocol or not, they did play on, and that hasn't happened in any other handball or anything like that. So why are people saying, let's replay the other games when it's something completely different? But people don't have the logic to do that. So then they move towards Liverpool and go, we're fed up of listening to Liverpool, when actually Liverpool represent football. That could happen to anybody. But we've lost our way, haven't we? Because we've had the, drip effect of pundits and fans and media and organisations just turning Liverpool into the villain. And the game is gone in that sense. Also, I've got to add into this Southgate's England team. Absolutely incredible. But even I saw it yesterday and I was just like, I can't fight this anymore. I've got no energy left anymore. He's picking a player that's retired in Saudi Arabia. He's picking Maguire and Phillips again. And can I just say on this will blow your mind. Harry Maguire and Calvin Phillips being picked for England doesn't surprise me, because Gareth Southgate is now picking players that don't play football who have played well for him in the past. England has become a club team. It's not about the elite play. I mean, basically, England is not the best players in England. England is not the informed players in England. England has become a club team. This is not, Gareth Southgate may as well enter England into the National League and try and get promoted through to the Premier League, because England has just become a team of favourites who Southgate wants to pick. And he doesn't pick on form, and he doesn't pick on game time, and he doesn't pick the best. He just picks the players that he likes the most, that have done well for him over the last few years. It's remarkable that that's what England's become. In the case of Harry Maguire, he's only played 23 minutes in the Premier League this year. We're on game week 8. He's the 24th lowest picked player for Man United out of the squad. So 23 players in the Man United squad have played more minutes than him. 23. That's the amount of minutes he's had in the Premier League this year. Calvin Phillips has only played 70 in the Premier League. You can add Calvin Phillips' 70 minutes to Harry Maguire's 23. You get 93 minutes combined Premier League time, when they could have played 16 games. In fact, they've not even played one game combined, because we now add 10 minutes on to the end of the game. So they've played 93 minutes between them in the Premier League, and they've both been picked in the last England squads. James Ward-Prowse has got more assists than Man United this season, as an individual. I mean, you must sit there at home if you're James Ward-Prowse and go, what's the point? I'm not even saying I should start for England, but why not take me as part of the squad and let me train with them as a reward for actually being one of the best midfielders in England at the moment? It's an absolute joke. Where this to me is just purely like, Saturday morning, go and do a running race, cross-country race or whatever. You win the race, and then the judge says, you didn't win the race. the guy who I live next door to won the race, who's just finished 10th. He's won the race. He's got the medal. I mean, that's basically what Southgate is doing there. And again, I say again, the game is gone, isn't it? Because it's, Konza at Villa should be picked over what he's done this season over Harry Maguire. And I'm not picking on Harry Maguire or get Calvin Phillips here. I just find it incredible that my country doesn't pick players on form, minutes and quality, and picks them on friendships with the manager and what they did a year ago or 2 years ago. It's completely and utterly wrong, but we've become tired of it, haven't we? Jordan Henderson basically retired in the summer for money to go and play in Saudi Arabia. Whether he contradicted his morals in relation to things that he supposedly stood for or not, it's not a reason to not pick him for England. Going to play in the Saudi Arabian League, when the Premier League is the best league in the world, you should not be being picked for England. That's a piss take. That is a piss take to every English midfielder who is plying their trade in the hardest league in the world week in, week out, especially someone like James Ward-Prowse. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. The Saudi Arabian League is there for people to go and make their money, and fair play. Steven Gerrard is coaching him. It's a money league, and you are picking people with, for that. It's wrong. It's completely wrong. But look, I think that's where we are. I think as football fans, we are so suppressed and we are so powerless, and we have an opinion, and thank God we do. But do we really have a voice? These people in positions of power don't speak for us, don't think about us. They just do what's better for them. Maintain the status quo. And this is what I mean about politics and football. There's a very, very similar world going on here, isn't there? The amount of people that have frustration with the way their countries are being run and how they're being ignored and suppressed. And look, they're bigger issues, but football's exactly the same. You look at it and you go, let's go back to last weekend. That goal is onside. He's onside. He's scored. They know it's onside, and they've gone, we've messed up. We're not going to do anything about it. We've messed up. We'll just give it a couple of weeks and people will be blaming Liverpool. Give it a week and people are blaming Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp, throwaway comment about a replay, which he's technically right about. That's it. Liverpool are the villain now. Oh, they want too much. Can I just say to those people who think a replay's wrong, fine, okay, a replay probably was never going to happen. Jurgen Klopp admitted it himself. But what should happen then? Because I've seen people, the Prime Minister of Football and everybody else just say, accept the apology and move on. End of exclamation mark. Hold on a minute. One of the biggest injustices we've seen in football recently, we just move on. When the same thing happened last season to Arsenal, it's happening to other clubs all the time. So we're just going to accept that it's rubbish, are we? We're going to accept that. I guarantee you, if it was in the Prime Minister of Football's business that somebody did something really, really bad, he wouldn't just accept it. So I think that there has to be some, Darren England's not being allowed to referee or officiate Liverpool games again. I bet Liverpool are sat there going, oh, great, that's it. That's all you needed to do. No, what are you going to do? And I feared this at the start of the week. Nothing's going to happen. The longer we move away from last weekend, and as soon as we play some Premier League games this weekend, it just gets swept under the carpet. It's the tactic. I've seen it before. I remember somebody on Twitter a couple of years ago, they said something ridiculous. They got into everyone gave them a load of shit. They went off Twitter for about 3 weeks. And then, they just were off Twitter for 3 weeks. And then they came back 3 weeks later. There was a few people who mentioned it, but the fire had gone down a little bit. And then they just carried on as normal on Twitter and it got forgotten. This is exactly what's happened this week. It's like, let's own the mistake. Let's do nothing about it. And in time, there'll be another incident this weekend that people will forget about that. And nothing will happen. And that's why I and anybody else who has kept at it this week, whether you're a Liverpool fan, Arsenal fan, Man United fan or whatever, I applaud you. We are now in the minority. But nothing has changed from Monday when everybody agreed with us. Nothing has changed apart from the passage of time. People want to talk about something else. They're bored of that now. They're bored of that injustice in football. They want to talk about something else. But they'll be back. They'll be back next week or the week after when something happens and they'll moan again. And we'll moan with them, but we'll also say, well, you gave up on the previous fight, and this is why I always call the PGMOL a dictatorship. This is why I call the referees a dictatorship, because they're untouchable. They can do what they want and get away with what they want. And if you make a mistake, you'll get the sack, but the people in power won't. The people who really matter, they'll get rid of that Darren England because he's collateral. But the problem is the system, not the individual. Like, the protocol is the problem, the rules are the problem, the people they employ are the problem, the lack of football knowledge and common sense is the problem. They want to keep that VAR. They want to keep it. They want to keep destroying the game of football, which is what they're doing. I mean, look, one of the fundamentals of VAR for me that I absolutely hate, and I would say again, the game is gone. One of the fundamentals I absolutely hate is when a goal goes in and not know whether you can celebrate or not. I mean, it's bad enough when it's two teams you just enjoy watching, but when it's your team, it's horrific. I mean, that, to me, is one of the saddest injustices of football that doesn't get enough airtime. The fact that we just accept it, but we know this to be true. A goal doesn't feel the same as it did 10 years ago. When a goal goes in, the celebration that you have is 70% at best now. And there are some people who would deny that and go, no, I still celebrate the goals the same. But you're getting disappointed more then, aren't you? I mean, every goal that goes in now, I'm doing something I didn't do 10 years ago. I'm thinking as soon as the goal goes in, could there have been an offside? Might there have been a foul in the build-up? And also, some of the things I would never know anyway. You can't even predict it because I've celebrated a goal and go, doesn't look like it's offside. Doesn't look like it's a foul. And then there'll be some other reason not to give it. You know, something happened 10 minutes ago or it brushed somebody's hand. I think that's one of the saddest things that doesn't get enough discussion. I mean, obviously, when there's a red card that shouldn't be a red card or an onside that's been given offside, they're headlines, they're big things. But, I mean, the amount of goals that we don't celebrate properly. There almost should be a stat every weekend of goals that fans couldn't celebrate properly because it had to be checked on VAR or it could have been dubious. I think that's one of the saddest things. VAR, in its very essence, has diluted the enjoyment of football for football fans. Nobody in any other business would come up with something that dilutes the enjoyment of the consumer. You wouldn't do that. You know, Coca-Cola are not going to add half a pint of still water to a can of Coke to dilute the enjoyment of the product. You're not going to do that, are you? You know, Krispy Kreme donuts aren't just going to sell the donut and not put the filling in. But VAR has diluted the enjoyment of football. Anyway, look, I just wanted to have a summary piece at the end of the week because I find it really, really sad. Can I just say as well, links in the live chat and in the video description. New podcast out today. Worst Premier League team of the season so far. I'm getting pelters for the person I put at right wing, but I stand by it. If you listen to what I said, I'm right, ultimately. You can also win an EAFC code. We're giving that away as well. Links in the video description. The cough is back. That's a bad cough. Thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget watch-alongs on Sunday. Man City at Arsenal, Liverpool at Brighton. We'll have watch-alongs for that. Take care. Check out the podcast. Get your comments in below on everything I've said. Is the game gone? Is there anything we can do about it? Speak to you all soon.